Hey guys, what's up? BC coming back at you guys with yet another Transformers video review, and this time around, not only am I getting back into the intros, I'm kind of in a new location to see if this will actually help me do this better, because I tried to do this in my old location and I ran into a lot of issues. So, with that being said, today we are going to be taking a look at Microblaze Creations MBC-002 Military Titans. And as usual, it's a third-party figure, so naturally I'm going to take a look at the box first. If I can reach my arms around this and lock the camera in so I don't end up bumping everything, because this is a big box. So yeah, you got Bruticus' face right there, Onslaught right here, MBC-002 Military Titans, and a nice foil, which is really, really nice. You can kind of see the camera in there. No, not really. You know, on the side, MBC-002 Military Titans. On the top, Military Titans, Onslaught, MBC. And then you come to the back, and you got, basically, it shows you everything you get in the box. Let me switch this over so you can see it all better. Basically, it shows you everything you get in the box, right there. And then the 3 modes you get with just the toy you're getting. So that's all fine and dandy. I'm not gonna pull a go and throw this, so I'm just gonna put this off to the side. Let's switch this back over. So first things first, I'm going to bring in the guinea pig of all this. It's Onslaught. Now, I was nice to this figure. I didn't judge it too much because, you know, it didn't seem fair. But as of today's standards, all the work that went into him, or lack of work, just did not help his case. Well, we'll get more into that in a second. We all know how Swindle and everyone turned out, so let's get a look at what they did to improve them. So let's start off with Swindle. Now, Swindle, what you ended up with was kind of, I didn't put the hands back in, but yeah, you ended up with a Jeep with a turret on it. There really isn't much different here, other than he's got a tumor on his back. It looks cool. I actually kind of like this. I love how the pipes come off the back. You know, it's a nice look. You know, again, like, doesn't impede the figure in any way. But where a lot of the magic happens is when you turn this guy into a robot. And him and Brawl are probably the only two where I'm gonna turn them into their robot modes, because that's where a lot of the magic happens for them. So basically, you pull this off, yank these pieces off. You technically don't need these for the robot mode, but I'm going to show off what they do for the robot mode. So you're going to fold these pieces out like this. Just try and keep these out, because these actually become pistols for him. And then these
what time you want to leave? We'll just
can fold out and rotate. And then this comes down like this, and you get a brand new chest plate for Swindle. Oh, you know, same thing as per usual. Turning this into a robot. Rotate this around. Now, instead of basically flipping up the head and plugging all this in, and you fold this completely onto his back and just leave it there. Here. Because basically what ends up happening here is this new chest plate using these two pieces, or these two plug holes, plugs on and you, like, if you just lightly push it, it goes on, and then you can pull it. And then of course the video proves me wrong. Basically you just lightly put it in, give it a nice little push, and then it pops right out when you need to go into the preferred of the modes. But yeah, there is Swindle in his new robot mode, and all I'm gonna say is drastic improvement. Yes, Brawl does this significantly better. Like, I could gush about Brawl all day, but for what they managed to do with Swindle, I like this. This is a massive improvement. And light piping, really good light piping too. I really like this. So yeah, that is Swindle. Now I'm gonna say Brawl for last. So ones that we really don't have to turn them into their robot modes, because really they don't get much. Blast Off. The only thing he really gets as add-on parts are these thrusters. That's really about it. And I'm a little disappointed because Blast Off was my favorite of the Combaticons, and he got stilted because he only got the thrusters. So yeah, moving him over, bringing in Vortex, and you can see he becomes a helicopter that's pretty much never going to be able to fly ever again due to all the weaponry that's attached to him. This, like, if I saw this coming at me, I would be utterly freaking terrified. I would run the other direction, even though I know for a fact the very moment I try, I get blown to smithereens. So yeah. And then the freaking meat and potatoes of this set for one character that I was looking forward to the most, but was disappointed with the most: Brawl. Tough freaking boom. Like, if you guys play Call of Duty Zombies like my brother does, just imagine Tank Depsy just kind of standing right there screaming, "Yeah!" That's basically the vibe I get out of this. Now, pulling this off real quick, showing off how they improved Brawl. Oh, real quick. One, new crotch plate. Because why not? New feet. Thank freaking goodness. This was something he sorely needed. And then bringing all this down, flipping out his hand, and kind of bring this down, flip out his hand. You kind of come up here and pop this up, and there we have Brawl. And already just a significant improvement. Significant improvement. This is what kept me from liking this figure initially. One, he can finally stand up. Two, he actually finally looks imposing, instead of having these dinky little hands. Like, these are, like, seriously, these are just cuffs that go over his smaller robot hands that just flipped out like that. Those are pitifully small. So the fact that they made you a couple pieces that slap on top there and give him bigger hands, I approve. And then this comes in. Basically, you just unplug all of these, like, just unplug these two pieces. And I guess if you really didn't want to put the giant backpack of doom on him, you could just plug these on into his hand and he could proceed to dual wield, blow you to smithereens there. But then, of course, you know, he's the boom guy of the group. So, plug this on. And even though he's got all this, and of course the video goes to prove me wrong. There we go. Even with all that strapped onto his back, he stands up and just really is just a trooper through all this. So yeah, that's Brawl. Now again, like, even though it's kind of pointless, I'm gonna try this anyways. What do they do for Onslaught? Because, you know, again, Onslaught didn't get much in the realm of, say, add-on parts. Well, that's because they did something else. Unlike Bruticus, who attempted to upgrade and give him a trailer and all that other jazz, we got this. Something we should have got. Something we should have gotten. A brand new Voyager-sized Onslaught. This is, like, other than Brawl, this is the bulk of what you're buying. It's a big, massive, new Onslaught. And this is where most of the coverage is gonna go. So, gonna kind of move him back a little bit. Move the camera a little closer. So that I may try and keep all this in frame. Even though I, like, you know what, let's just take this piece out of the tripod. So I can get in close and really get a look at this guy. Now, he's big, he's massive, he's chunky. Now, here's the unfortunate thing. These pieces are garbage. But they're this loose and floppy for a reason. So we're just gonna pull these out. And they combine in two ways. For vehicle mode, they combine like this. And you can already see they don't hold together all that well. But they also combine together like this. Do they hold together any better like that? Nope. You'll see the point of this soon, but yeah, I'll just set this off to the side. And we're gonna get a look at his transformation. And this is freaking nuts. Pulling him out of the box the first time, trying to get him in the vehicle mode, I was sitting there like, what the hell am I doing? So yeah, getting him in a robot mode, since, you know, he's a transformer, that's what you need to do. Get him in a robot mode before you go into the more important mode. These pop off on me all the time, don't worry about it. So yeah, fold that down, split this in half, and do your best to get that to pop back in. Actually, just plug it in like that, because you're basically supposed to flip these out anyway. So flip them out. Now, kind of folding all this down. So we fold this up and plug it in. Kind of rotate and pop these pieces off, and you'll kind of come into the legs real quick. You're gonna flip the feet around like this, and then of course I almost knocked the camera over. Pop this off and plug it in here. Pop this off, plug it in here, flip his feet up. Now these pieces actually plug in on two spots. They plug into the wheel, and then they plug in up here. What that does is when you plug these in, what it does is it solidifies this whole connection. At first, you know, with my first take on the video, I didn't realize this. There were a lot of things I didn't realize with my first take on this review. But yeah, there we go. There's the leg transformation. Now, getting up to the arms. This is rather frigging ridiculous. You're going to flip these back, and then you're going to fold these wheels up because they become the shoulders. Or at least part of the shoulders. Flip that piece backward, or maybe not. Kind of fold these pieces up like this, and you're going to rotate, kind of get everything around like this, and then plug them in, down. What the hell, why aren't you plugging in? And plug them in right there. There we go. And then you fold this up, and that plugs in up here. It's a very loose plug, but still a plug nonetheless. Rotate this super friggin' heavy ratchet joint around like that, and then flip this around like this. And then kind of come down here, open these panels up. Well, I guess you can push the hand through, flip the hand around, and close the panels back up, and there is his arm. Again, do the same thing to the other side. Alright, come on. There we go. Alright, come on. There we go. It is scary how freaking tight those are, but I understand why. Alright. Flip all this around. Stand him up. Now you flip the head out, push this piece down and in like that, and then you fold this whole piece and plug it in right there. And there he is in his robot mode. Now give me a second while I transform the deluxe figure, which is literally going to be a few seconds. And like, this is just going to be a quickie. Yeah, he's tiny. This is a cool toy. I'm not gonna lie. He was a cool toy. But for what he was trying to do, this does it so much better. So yeah. And, you know, it's a new Voyager-sized Onslaught, so how does he compare to, say, other Voyagers? And that popped off. Or popped out. Wow, you're gonna keep doing that the whole review, aren't you? There we go. So yeah, kind of backing him up a little bit. Coming over here to grab Voyager Grimlock. And you know, he's actually slightly, just slightly taller. Here he is next to Blaster. Slightly taller than Blaster. So yeah, he's a pretty decently sized figure. Now with again, a few quick flipperoos, we can see him in comparison to his team members. Here he is with, you know, first things first, here he is with the new Swindle. Kind of keeping him, 1, in shot, 2, keep him from falling over. Next to Brawl. You know, again, kind of back this up a little bit because these guys are a pretty decent looking unit in of themselves. I was kind of plugging all this in and folding this down. Fold down. Here he is next to, or here's Blast Off. Off, and you know, kind of keeping some of these add-on bits in the shot for the next few bits of this, because I'm kind of gonna need all these, but you know, whatever. Again, flip them around. This ain't looking too well. Well, this is kind of just a quickie transformation. I may just not even. Yeah, screw it. Here he is next to. Here he is with the whole band. Just the whole bandwagon right there. That already is immediately looking more like an intimidating team. This looks freaking awesome in person. Like, I am absolutely in love with how all this turned out. But now there's only one thing left to do. As we all know, these are the Combaticons. Who do the Combaticons combine into? The mighty Bruticus. So once again, starting from the very, very bottom, we're going to start with Swindle. And basically, what we're going to do with him is, again, we're going to pop this piece out, fold this piece out, kind of turn him back into his truck mode, or his Jeep mode, whatever. Flip the hands down for better stability. Flip the feet down. Pop these pieces out and fold the gun bits in. Split this open. Take the head, flip it around and in, and then push this into there, and then rotate this piece up, and it plugs in the same way it did in vehicle mode. This screw hole, and then this, and then it will rest into that notch. I should get those both, put it in one side and then just kind of plug it in. And of course, you know, while I'm on set, I'm just gonna sit here and struggle with it until it actually plugs in. Come on, damn it. There we go. There we go. Oh, and again, you know, kind of turn him back. Just kind of turn him into his leg mode. Oh, it really doesn't matter how you do it. Just do it. Oh, come on. Damn it. There we go. Make sure everything locks together in any way, shape, or form. And now, you take these pieces and kind of fold them this forward. You're going to plug them in on the sides like that. Then this comes down, and then you rotate these pieces to the back like this, and there is there is Swindle as a leg. kind of backing him up. And then taking, let's do Vortex first since he's the simplest. Here is the gun that goes to Vortex. Now this is actually kind of like, I thought it was gonna be scary, but sorry about that. So kind of getting back to Vortex, you basically have to split them right at the waist. Now, I thought this was going to be utterly freaking terrifying. Really isn't a big deal at all. So flip all this around. This flips around. Kind of, just kind of turn the body parts of the Vortex back into their helicopter forms. Now, for improvement, I noticed that there were issues keeping this closed with both the gun and the Bruticus hand inside. What did I do to mitigate this? This is the strut that the Bruticus hand was on, but I chopped it off. So yeah, kind of folding this up, plugging those together, and flipping this around like that. We now go to the gun. You slide the hand out, fold the handle in, and then fold this down to make a skeletal L, which you then, decide where it bends, and then you take this, and with a nice push, it'll click in, and there is, well, okay, not really. Kind of put this piece on top, and then you take this, split this open again, without letting everything fly off into oblivion. Kind of just rest it all in there. There, give it a nice good click. Rotate the hand around. And there is your new and improved Bruticus left arm. Already looking miles better than what we had originally. But again, moving on to now this part, to this gun. This one is for Blast Off, my favorite of the group. And poor Blast Off, he gets completely torn apart. Poor Blast Off. Poor Blast Off. Fold those pieces up. Pop off his shoulders. And fold these in like this. Come here. And then these flip down. Why don't I just adjust this down a little bit so that I'm not stressing myself too much. Now, next part is you come in here and you kind of pull out the hand. Flip this in. Straighten this out. Fold these pieces out. Rotate this around and flip this up. And basically what you just made is another skeletal arm, which you can also plug the hand on if you want to. So basically, whether you didn't have Blast Off or not, you kind of have an arm mode right here to kind of tide you over until you get him, if you didn't already have him. So yeah. What do we do with this? Oh, I almost forgot. I gotta pop this piece off. But yeah, what I do is I rotate his head around before I plug him in. And how he plugs in is these two pieces that had this plug onto his back for when you're transforming him, even though you really didn't need it. He plugs on, this gun thing plugs on right here. This piece right here, exposed head, bam, exposed head problem covered. Now, plugging these back together, kind of plug them in out there, and then you take both of these leg pieces and you plug them on the other side. And there's your new and improved Bruticus right arm. Again, already a massive improvement. And, you know, like, there. Now again, the one that does all of this the best. Brawl. You pull the backpack of doom off. Plug the guns back in. And come on, damn it. There we go. Now, fold this piece up, rotate it around, fold this up, or not fold it. Okay, rotate it around like that. Which you then gotta rotate this around and peg it together. And they're right there. Now keep one of these there. Keep one of these folded in, but flip one out. Because you're gonna need this to attack Brawl. Now for Brawl, you basically just turn him into his leg mode. And I'm trying to figure out how... Okay, there we go. When I have him transformed, I usually get it all confused. So don't do what I do and try and do certain steps ahead of each other. Either flip all this around. Come on, damn it. Kind of plug it in there. And there is the beginnings of what is going to be his leg mode. Which you then take this, again, plug it in on one side already, and then plug in the other side, and there's Brawl as a foot. Now, while we have all these built up, I'm going to go ahead and take these off camera. Because we need a lot more time with him. What exactly do we need to do with him? It's actually quite simple. And by quite simple, I mean this takes effing forever. So you're going to pop these off and add them to our pile of parts. Nice, and try and keep them together. Push his head off and just kind of fold the arms back down like this. And just unplug the waist, which is easier said than done apparently. Why won't you come apart? That was intentional. I planned that. I totally did. No, I didn't. That usually doesn't happen. kind of fold all this up and then rotate it around like this. Just kind of rotate these around like this. Now, originally I thought that there really wasn't anything else you had to do with the legs. This is an optional thing. If you want to do this, feel free. If not, then you don't have to. But basically, keeping the legs bent, push these side panels down before you come and plug the legs together down here. Why doesn't this ever work for me the first time? There we go. Was that hard? Apparently so. Which you then bring this piece down and plug it in like that. And surprise, surprise, you gotta get this back into its vehicle mode configuration. So yeah, flip all this around. And like this. And like this. So that you can push it up into there. And these will come down. Fit them around that. And we'll get these folded down. Proceed to get it all to plug together. And this will just come down like this, and then you push back and it'll lock into place. Now come down here and start popping these panels open so you can get the combiner ports back out. Because, you know, you kind of need those. There we go. Now coming up here, fold the wheels down and then rotate them up like this. Up like this. Now keeping these panels back like this, fold the head in, pop this forward, and kind of make sure all of this is straight, because it's a pain in the neck to straighten it out when you don't need it. Push this back up because I forgot to. You know, kind of just leaving them like that, because now this is where things get interesting. You can't put anything together yet. You can't finish putting the chest together yet until you slide the arms in. And this is where things get really kind of cool. You plug this in, and then the barrel that's right there folds in, and that locks it. Well, okay, don't yank the actual piece off, but that locks it into place. So that's all sorts of fine and dandy. Now let's get, I'm surprised that thing's actually standing up. Let's get Blast Off in here. Again, slide him in. Push the barrel in. And there is the Bruticus arms, which you then proceed to fold this piece down, fold this back, and kind of do something to where the head plugs into the turret, the green turret thing. These will fold forward and actually kind of sort of rest on top of the guns. This piece will flip around and become what is essentially his backpack. Now we're still not done here, because you kind of got to lay him back down, because now we bring the legs back in. And basically what you do here is you treat them like the deluxe class figure and you just push them right in. And once you get those on, you continue to realize just how effing big he is, and you'll hope and pray nothing falls off. Now these two pieces, again, they kind of combine together like this to become a gun for Onslaught, but I didn't show that off because it was kind of stupid. But basically here, they lock the backpack in, and how they do that is these tabs go in this hole goes in the back, and the hole up here slots onto a tab right on the shoulder. Kind of sort of get that line, you gotta get that lined up and plugged in, and there we go. Again, line it up and plug it. Come on, damn it. Plug this in. Why does this seem overly... whatever. I'm probably just imagining it. It kind of get him to where he's usually much more stable than this. It's just that, you know, once anything's on camera, it all starts to fall apart. Flip these little test spikes out, and, you know, kind of lift this up so you can actually get some pressure behind it to plug it in. So yeah, plug that in, fold it down, come around, fold it up, plug that in, fold it down, and there is the combined mode. Now, give me just a sec so I back him up and do the faraway shot because he's bloody the F huge. Let me turn the deluxe class figure into his torso, into BC can talk, into its torso mode real quick like. I can flip this all around and where the fuck did your green gun thing go? Oh well. Yeah. Now these thruster bits are pretty cool because these actually become the Inferno hand weapon. Now for this, instead of trying my hardest to get it all to combine while the hand is attached, I'm gonna pop the hand off and show you how it attaches right here. It basically just covers up his hand and then plugs on, and of course it doesn't plug in. There we go. So yeah, there you go. There is the Inferno belting Mega Buster, and then of course I drop the hand. Yeah. And come on, plug in, damn it. There we go. Now, you can, for storage, if you spin this big guy around, if you really wanted to, you can take these and these holes right here, plug these in as like pseudo thrusters. There we go. Now the fun part. Size comparisons. Well, first things first. Let's show him off with his mighty commander, Megatron. Let's show him off with his mighty commander, Megatron, who's right there. And just, yeah. Okay, let me back this up a little bit more. So you can really get to see just how freaking massive he is. Like, I don't even think I want to do the size comparisons now because just... I mean, like, here he is next to... Or, like, here he is with Grimlock. Grimlock barely comes up to his freaking hip. And if you want to see him next to, say, a leader class figure. Here he is next, or at least behind, Jetfire. Yeah, he's a big boy. He is definitely a big boy as I sit here and knock over half of my damn collection trying to get size comparisons. So yeah. You saw the transformation, you saw the size comparisons. How is he looking in the realm of articulation? This, just to kind of help it a little bit. Hi! I'm going to stand up and show it off because this is actually kind of cool. He's got two hinges in his head that allows him full range of motion. The arms have ratchet joints in the shoulders, going forward and back, in and out. He has a decent elbow bend, which is also ratcheted, and his arm swivels. He's got a ball jointed wrist, but I don't dare try and move him because they're scary tight. And as you saw as I was kind of fiddling around with him, stand up please, don't fall over. He has articulated fingers. And that, honestly, I feel that's a nice touch. I wasn't expecting him to have fully posable fingers. And you know, again, same thing over here on Blast Off without knocking into everything. You know, fully ratcheted elbow. You know, you can kind of get the wrist swivel to work a little bit better over here. And again, you know, the fully posable fingers, a ball joint in the thumb, and a joint in each knuckle. And here is where, like, he doesn't have a waist joint. He's got these hip skirts that you saw fly off. And here is why these hip joints are super freaking tight. Because, or why those ratchet joints are super tight. They're to support the combine mode. They also have a thigh swivel, and through the actual combiner port alone, he has a fully functioning knee joint, even though on Swindle it kind of fell apart. Let's try and get this back together, and there we go. Oh, he has ankle tilts. Don't bother trying to use them because he really doesn't need them to stand up. And yeah, he final recommendation, dude, if any of you guys have the Bruticus limbs, no matter what form you have, even if you have the Ruination limbs, look into this. This is a nice, very, very nice looking combined mode. I absolutely adore the way this looks. But of course, as you guys know, I'm usually pretty easy to please. But again, this is a third-party figure. He's not gonna be cheap. So if you have the money and you're willing to invest in this and you have the limbs, go ahead and pick this up. Now for a question: Would you guys want to see a Ruination body? Answer that question for me. With all of that said, I've taken up enough of your time. This time around, though, I didn't take up a full-on hour. I'm barely shaving off 10 minutes. But yeah, with all of this said, guys, this is BC saying stay nerdy and get your geek on. I will catch you guys next time.